It is hour 2. We call it the second half kickoff. And we're very excited to have you here in the bunker. We got the Hall of Famer Nik Lewis with us. Opening day in the Canadian Football League. It is the Hamilton Tiger Cats at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight. Hour 2, all of hour 2 is presented by Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. So obviously we're talking a lot of CFL football, but whatever you'd like to discuss, fire it our way in the live streaming section if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, or you can text us on the Prairie Mobile text line 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaaS telemobility dealer. There's a few things going on before I go any further. Yeah, we got all the CFL audience today. It's the only daytime sports talk show talking Canadian Football League ball in this country. But there are a few other things going on that I want to mention. You need to know that the Canada-Sweden women's soccer gold medal game's been moved from Thursday night to Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. So they can play at night, so it's not so hot there. Canada versus Sweden for gold. LA Dodgers signed Cole Hamels today. Just wanted to put that out there. 1 year, $3.05 million. So the Dodgers are going for the repeat. And hey, there's a little football game in Canton, Ohio tonight. You might have heard. Dallas Cowboys going to have our way with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first NFL preseason game. Nik Lewis knows what's up. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yes, indeed.
Lifelong. So let's just spend a minute on that for a second.
One of my board members is going to that game.
Is that right?
She messaged me last night, Dr. Jen Welter, and said she's heading to Canton, Ohio for the game.
That's a bucket list thing right there. Wouldn't you say? The Hall of Fame game?
You know what? The Hall of Fame game, I think going to a game and when they do the games over in Europe as well, that'd be something to go to see as well. So just a different atmosphere. You know, they love soccer so much that it's just a total different crowd base. Like you go to a soccer game, they hardly ever sit down. You have the one section that's standing up, chanting and cheering the whole time. I just think that every CFL stadium should have like a soccer stadium feel section.
Oh boy. And that's why we can get right into this. Boy, you got a lot of fans, Nick. A lot of people checking in about Nik Lewis. Obviously, he's going to the Hall of Fame. A lot of talk about Cody Fajardo, the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the pressure that's on him. What did the general manager say on, I think it was Monday? Jeremy O'Day, the GM of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, saying, we want Cody to know the weight of the world is not on his shoulders. And I was like, when I read that, what?
He's in Saskatchewan.
Right. You're starting quarterback of one of the marquee franchises on the continent. Yes, the weight of the world is on his shoulders.
Jordan Love probably paid Aaron Rodgers to come back. Like, come on, we can't. Wait a sec. First of all, I'd understand that if Cody was starting for Toronto or for somebody else, but he's starting for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We understand that the weight of the world is on your shoulders, right? There's been an expectation over the last 15 years set that we're going to contend, and if we're not, you're going to hear about it. I mean, fans are pretty publicly known to voice their opinion to the players or about the players if they're not performing up to par. So that's a part of it, right? So you can't protect Cody from that. You can just hope he can go out and do it. And, you know, I seen, you know, everybody talks about Jason Moss. I love Jason Moss. He's a great OC. But when he went from Mike Riley to Trevor Harris struggled a little bit, right? He threw the ball down the field more than he used to, right? So we'll see what happens if Moss learned from that and works different with Cody, or if he tries to make Cody push the ball down the field a little bit more and see what's going to happen. So we'll see.
Dude, it's the great unknown. And that begins tonight.
There's so many unknowns. I mean, Winnipeg, Buck Pierce, Ottawa, Paul LaPolice. I mean, where is there any kind of consistency with what we last seen in 2019?
More stress on the defensive coaches or the offensive coaches?
Offense.
Is that right, huh?
It takes one person on defense to save a play. It takes one person to screw up a play on offense, right? So one person does something wrong on offense, the whole play looks like crap. Everybody's calling for your job. So we're going to see this happen, you know, with coaching, cutting from 11 coaches down even further now.
Yeah.
All of this plays a huge factor in what happens in the progression of football. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I tell you what, I'm going to tune in. I know you're going to tune in, and it's going to be exciting, right? When people run on the field tonight, it's going to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I think the commissioner will be there.
I hope he's there. I think they should have extended. I've seen they're only suiting up like 43 or 44 guys this year.
Yeah.
I would have went with 50 because that fatigue and injuries are going to set in at some point, right? We've seen what happened in the NBA with the shortened season. Guys haven't taken a hit. You can't train for football. You can run as much as you want to run. You can do as much as you want to do. You don't tackle at practice. You don't do anything that's physical, really. So when guys start taking these hits and their body starts shutting down, but now they have to be on more special teams, they have to do more, it's going to affect everything.
Yeah. Well, from one of the viewers, Michael Morin, watching on Facebook, says, if the Riders have a good season defensively, do you think Jason Shivers will become a hot name in the head coach carousel?
He should.
He is an outstanding coach. We've both seen it from the inside.
Great coach, but
yeah.
If you look at, I watched something on the Chargers the other day. If you look at coaches now, it's more about relatability to the players.
Oh, yeah.
Being a head coach now has turned into being a baseball manager. You get an offensive guy you can trust, defensive guy you can trust, but now how are you relating to your players? Are they buying into what you're selling, and how are they on a day-to-day basis? You look at Mike O'Shea, great guy, right? He's built that organization up, right? They were looking to fire him when he hired Paul Alpolice. Said, why would you hire your replacement? Because he
wasn't threatened.
If he does what he's supposed to do, then I will not need to be replaced, and he wasn't, right? You look at Dave Dickinson. You look at all these coaches, Rick Campbell. Craig Dickinson, like all these coaches. Orlando Steinhauer is one of the greatest people you can ever meet in life.
Of course.
Right? So we have all these coaches, and you look across the league right now, all the coaches are relatable. Kahari Jones, relatable.
Still a player, basically.
Right?
The way that I've been around him and seen it. Players love that.
These are some of the things that players now buy into is relatability. You can't come in and just be old school and be hard on people. You have to work that relationship, massage it a little bit, and then when you build it, you can start to be tougher. You can't just come in the door and do that anymore.
I love having this discussion with you because James in Borden, Manitoba, Bomber fan, writes in and says, you have to baby these millennials. You could call it that, but what Nick's saying is you need to relate to them. Is that babying them? Maybe. You need to find a way to get him to play. Because you talk about old school, Wally could play it whatever way you want, right? He could relate to anybody.
Yes.
That's what makes him the winningest coach of all time. Although, as he will say, because I've said to him, Wally, what made you the winningest coach of all time? You know what he said? Great players.
That's it.
Always deflecting the credit, right? He's like, nothing I did.
But as a coach, you want to deflect it to your players. They're the ones that's putting in the work. You just try to put them in the best position possible to help them get a little better every day. Somebody like Ryan Dinwiddie, man, I just think it's so relatable. Look what he's done with Bo, the different things that he's done with Arbuckle. He got Arbuckle ready to play on a week-to-week basis when Bo was out, and they didn't miss a beat.
And won, yeah.
Right? So you look at that, and you're just like, man, this is what football's come to. It's not babying people. We always want people to be what we were, right? I played in both eras. I played in the era with some of these tough guys, Sigour Mobley and A.J. Gass and, Mike O'Shea's and people like that. They go out there, throw helmets, spit on you, do whatever they need to do to get the edge in the game. But then I played in the era, around 2013, 2014 with a lot of the newer guys where it's more finesse, right? It's not a bad thing. I just think that, players are more into them now and
themselves.
Yeah. Oh. And you just got to massage it, right? You got to massage it. I've been there. I coached my guys and, we did great.
Yeah, they don't like criticism. Less than ever. They never really did, but now it's, because they've never been criticized their whole life.
I showed up to a coaching meeting one time with my guys, early meeting, and all we did was watch their highlight films. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, this is who you are. I want everybody in the room to see who you are. And I want that to be the guy that you are on a day-to-day basis, right?
I had a guy in the league text me and say, I'm having a problem with one of the players. He doesn't like what I said about his play in camp. He's, what should I say? I said, tell him to play better. You know what I mean? Like, it just, yeah. Frank in Toronto writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line and says, this will be a low-scoring game tonight. He's talking about the Bombers and the Ticats. He says, no exhibition games, no contact for 2 years. I hope no serious injuries. And there's that, too. It's 11-11, by the way. Make a wish that there will be no injuries tonight. A prayer might be in line. From Metal Shingle Guy, writing on the Prairie Mobile text line. He says, big win for Simone and the Ticats. Chuck and Duck Zach. No Harris. Could be a problem. Eat 'em raw. What a delicious matchup tonight, the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. How do you honestly make any odds on this? How do you make any predictions on this when there are so many unknowns? Well, actually, one of the viewers said, it was Jeff, the Stamps fan, wrote in and he said, he's not letting you out of here or me today without some predictions for the standings. And I'm the first guy to make those. For some reason, something's guiding me not to make my predictions. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea how this is going to unfold. Do you?
I'm looking forward to the top 10 list of guys we don't know about that's going to become great players in this league this year. Right? You see Avonte Diggs get cut in Edmonton. There's got to be somebody there, right?
Right?
You see some of these things happen, and there's so much turnover on teams, and we look at Ottawa. Like, okay, we know they made some changes, and we know they brought in some people. There's got to be somebody there that's like, I get my opportunity to go out and make a name for myself. So that's what I'm most excited to look forward to is who am I going to get to learn about and get to know about through the course of these first few weeks of the season.
Michael Wynn says, watch out for Brad Oliveira. He's a beast. John in Winnipeg says, Nick needs his own show on TSN. Nick and the players. How about Nick has his own show on AO Sports? How about that?
I do.
Why do we keep talking about TSN all the time?
It's the First Down Factory. It'll be coming soon.
So. Nice.
Yeah.
You got to get your head out of that. The old way of thinking.
Yes.
Cindy Girls watching in Pittsburgh, and she says, thanks again for another fantastic show, Rod. Have a great evening. Whoa. We got a lot of time. Where are you going? We got a lot of time left in this show.
Yeah, and just say about Oliveira, Brady Oliveira. So when I was rating running backs coming out 2 years ago or for the 2019 season, he was my number one running back coming out of college, right? That guy is an animal. So definitely look forward to seeing him. He got hurt on kickoff return his rookie season. So Brady's going to be a great running back in this league. He's very physical. He runs downhill. A little bit, couple things that Andrew Harris isn't. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And that'll be a nice 1-2 punch for the Bombers.
By the way, I love that the odds makers have Hamilton picked to win. A lot of our viewers have, because I think somebody informed Zach Calero, said that okay? Because I got to know Zach real well in his 2 years here, and I love the dude. That's the kind of stuff that keeps him going, right? The fuel, the chip on his shoulder. He's got a chip. It's a friggin' 2x6 off his shoulder, not a chip. That is Zach. And he's got 2 years to get healthy, right?
Yeah.
You talked about his 4-game run at the end of 2019, and which Zach are we going to see? Let's say that Zach's going to lose tonight, and Zach's not going to see the end of August. That's what gets him going.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm critical of players, but it's a respectful critical. I'm not going to come on here and say somebody sucks.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a respectful critical about the actual analyzation of what I see from each player and what they've told me over their career and their gameplay. Right? So I feel like I have the ability to do that with a non-bias, but I want every player to go out and play well. Like, I just want to see the best games possible. I want to see, like I always say, I talk to kids about the measuring stick. Who's the best? Go be that.
Yeah. Well, you can speak on that, though, because you've been on the field and you're going to the Hall of Fame. General Imlerith watching on YouTube says, don't count out Masoli, Rod. I'm not counting him out, but everybody's got the Ticats going in there, and it just sounds like they're going to have their way with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That's what everybody's saying. So I'm taking the Bombers side, and let's be honest with you, Winnipeg has been unbelievable to this show. The city of Winnipeg, our viewership there is incredibly strong, and I just heard from the Bombers yesterday with some very nice words. So whatever. I guess somebody's got to cheer for Winnipeg on this show.
But you know, Rod, he's got a lot of pressure too.
Nick?
No.
Or Zach?
No, Jeremiah Masoli.
Oh,
because when you have a legitimate guy standing right here beside you every day that could take your position the next play, you're now playing not to make enough mistakes to keep your job, and you're not really playing to win the game. That's going to be a very dynamic choice of what happens, and we'll see early tonight. How does he play? Is he playing safe, or is he going out to make plays? Is he throwing the ball down the field? Is he doing the things to make the plays to win the game?
That's a good point.
Because now his pressure comes from Dane Evans, right? Who's got his helmet in his hand the whole game.
Right, and ready to go.
He might even be wearing it the whole game.
But Jeremiah Masoli's not taking anybody by surprise anymore either. No. So it's another thing to watch tonight. By the way, Arlen Bruce III's watching. He says, shout out future Hall of Famer, number 82, Nik Lewis. And he says, Bombers by 8. And that's saying something from Spider-Man because he's played for both teams.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you never heard of BOK water, you need to hit up Arlen Bruce. That is some tremendous water with fulvic acid, so hit that up. Shout out Arlen Bruce, man.
He saved
the day in Vegas.
Speaking of Hall of Famers, Arlen Bruce is one. Okay.
Should be one. Yeah.
So, thanks, Ryan. Somebody was asking me the other day, they're like, what's up with G2G protein bars? You want to take a box home with you, Nick? Are you big on protein bars?
Oh, yeah, those are awesome.
They're unreal.
They are amazing. Shout out Ben Cahoon.
Yeah, shout out Ben Cahoon. I'll just give him right here. Thanks, Rocco. They're not going anywhere. Right-hander Ross Stripling goes to the mound when the Blue Jays complete their home series with Cleveland tonight. After dropping the opener, the Blue Jays have won 2 straight versus Cleveland. Righty Tristan McKenzie gets the start for the visitors. This sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis. Visit today, dubnetwork.ca. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including the new almond mocha. My favorite's the almond coconut. RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. Okay, back to the matter at hand, Nick. We were both a little surprised to see Macbeth getting the nod. Now, they've been through a training camp here for the last month. Their head coach is a quarterback, as is their OC. They know what they're doing. I'm a little surprised.
I'm very surprised. I mean, I know you got Jarius Jackson as the OC, and I know you have Dinwiddie as the head coach. Dinwiddie brought in Arbuckle from Ottawa.
That's right.
Previously having him in Calgary. That's amazing. Either, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Reeds, but I mean, McLeod Bethel-Thompson. He's not a he's not a slouch. He can go and sling the ball around the field all day. He just makes that one or two decisions that's like, no. But very surprising that Arbuckle isn't a day one starter, especially going back to Calgary, Arbuckle versus Bo, all these different things. So, one, it lets you know Toronto, doesn't matter what your salary is, doesn't matter where you were slated, they're looking to win.
Well, maybe Arbuckle's not healthy. Have we thought about that?
That could be it, too.
He's battled some things in training camp. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I guess Dinwiddie felt it better to feed Macbeth to the Sharks at McMahon. No, they're starting the guy that they feel will give them the best chance to win.
Oh, yeah.
Always, right? There are no throwaway games in pro football. There aren't. But this is a surprise to a lot of people.
I know Ryan Dinwiddie very, very well. He is not going into McMahon
giving up anything.
Yeah. He's going in to win. And the roster that John Murphy and Pinball have assembled, they're going in to win every game this year. Now, it's going to take time, But if they get there, they'll be tough.
Another from Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, here's a question for Rod or Nick. Are there any significant rule changes for 2021 we may have overlooked or forgotten? For me, they're off-field roster things. You can only dress 2 quarterbacks now. That's one. The practice rosters are 15 players versus 16 versus 10.
Yeah.
But not as far as the on-field play.
Yeah, on-field play, I think everything's pretty much the same. So just looking forward to seeing the guys back on the field. I think it's going to be exciting. Hopefully we see some kind of trick or gadget play tonight that's very Canadian football-esque.
That's the O'Shea MO, as you know. Tonight, TSN, did I write it down? Kickoff time. What is it? It's got to be 6:30 Mountain. I'll check on it here. Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What is your read on the Riders-Lions game before I let you go?
Oh, man, it's going to be interesting because, it comes down to those fronts. I think both offensive lines are going to struggle a little bit. But if it comes down to who's got a better defensive line, it's going to be Saskatchewan.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Garrett Marino. And, having him next to Micah Johnson is going to be something beautiful to see. And I always say if you want a good linebacker, get 2 great D tackles. They lost Cam Judge. They lost Solly.
Yeah.
This is going to help their linebackers out a lot to be able to flow to the ball by having those 2 up front in front of them.
Going to be a fun game.
Yeah,
it is 6:30 Mountain, 8:30 Eastern tonight, Hamilton at Winnipeg. And Nick, before I let you go, can you just tell our viewers about AO Sports? Because what you're doing is very impressive. They need to perk up and pay attention to what's going on because you're very close to launch now.
Yeah, we're very close to launch. I seen somebody earlier say they want me to be on a national cable show. Well, guess what? We're not national. We're global. We have partners in 5 different countries. We have athletes from 7 different countries. We have 2 of the top 10 racquetball players in the world, international rugby, soccer players, NFL Hall of Famers, CFL Hall of Famers. We have so many different aspects that's coming to this platform. You always say you want to hear the truth from athletes. You want to hear it without somebody above them being able to dictate what they're saying or getting mad about what they say. Well, on AO Sports, the athletes will own their own content, so they will have carte blanche to be as blunt as they want to be, and they're going to provide their shows, whether it's a vlog, a documentary, reality show. We're having our own NFL game day shows, our own CFL weekly shows. I'm excited about Luke Mullender coming and bringing some more SAS rider stuff to the platform as well. So there's going to be so many different dynamics, and just for $7 a month, you're going to get access to everything. But one of the most important parts to me is AO Evolve, which is the evolution of everyone, and we want to add in mental health training courses and nutrition, also with professional development and sport-specific training. So you're going to learn how to learn skills from the top athletes and fitness trainers around the world. So I'm really looking forward to see what we're going to do on a global stage. Shout out UFFS, Punch Boxing, Pixel Bird with Terrence Bud Crawford. I know he's getting ready for his next fight, so I'm really excited about that.
This is the CFL receiving king, Nik Lewis, and as he said, he can tweet tonight, and he can't be fined by the commissioner.
That's it.
So give him a follow on Twitter at Nick, NIKEL18, and AO Sports as well. Okay, Nick, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.